Hello and welcome to today's episode. Thank you for joining me in this space. Today, I want to invite you to an exploration. And usually, it's quite a tender exploration, a conversation about learning to trust your body signals. So, wherever you are, whether you're walking, resting, or whether you're sitting with a cup of tea, I'd like to invite you to take a soft breath in and slowly exhale. And as you are listening to this episode, to really pay attention to what's coming up for you as we explore this subject. In the work that I teach, body signals are one of the most profound ways that our being is communicating with us. And when I talk about our being, I'm talking about your somatic experience, I'm talking about your psyche, and I'm also talking about your soul. This is how our soma, psyche, and soul speak to us. Your body is wise. It holds memory. It holds protection. It holds the story of everything that happened to you in this life. It holds the story of your lived experience. Your body is your biography. And so the body signals can come in so many different ways. It can be that tightening in the chest or a tightening in the neck or in the shoulders. It could be this fluttering in the stomach. It could be a little tick that comes up. Like I have sometimes got this tick that comes up in my eye. It could be a tightening of the breath or deepening of the breath, or a deep sigh that comes as the sense of relief comes in the body. This and expansion that is felt within the body. It could be a sudden pull of energy or even a sense of collapse. I recently, over the last few months, have been experiencing this sense of, the only way that I can describe it is as if somebody pulled the plug out of me and all my energy suddenly just disappeared and collapsed. And that's been a very challenging experience. And I had to keep coming back to it again and again to really understand, what is that about? What is this sense of suddenly losing the energy? And it's taking a while to really unpick it, to really understand, what is it connected with? People and situations and thoughts. There was a life meaning connected to it that I really needed to understand. So maybe this is something that you've experienced. And I really want to stress, this is usually not a random thing. Nervous system is guiding you every step of the way. There is an inner wisdom within you guiding you. And certainly within the coaching method and the coaching approach called the Soma Psyche Soul coaching method, this is what we explore, because it always needs to start with understanding, then acknowledging, and then honoring those inner sensations and inner shifts that happen within us, honoring the body as a guide and never as something to be fixed or pushed. And this is one of the biggest things that many of us experience. I've experienced it for myself, and I hear other practitioners and clients talk about this idea that there is something wrong, that we need to fix it or we need to get rid of it before we have a full understanding of what's really going on for us. What is that message about? Your body knows. There is a deeper knowing within your body, even when the mind is unsure or confused. Your body still holds the truth of your reality. It's so common, especially for women, to feel disconnected from our body wisdom. And it can show up in so many different ways. For many of us, we were taught from a very young age to override our signals. So, for example, to keep going when tired. I'm just going to do this one more thing because it needs to be done. We were taught to say yes when we feel a no. Everything is screaming within your body. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't have capacity. No, I don't like it. And yet so many of us still say yes because we feel like we have to, or that's what's expected of us. We were taught to prioritize others' comfort over our own needs. And I know this is true for many men as well as women, or however you identify yourself. And if you've experienced trauma, your body might have learned to shut down or go into survival modes, fight, flight, freeze, or phony behavior. You may have stopped listening simply to survive. And I want to say it and really acknowledge it as gently as I can in this moment. If you feel disconnected, it's never your fault. It's not about putting the blame on yourself. It's not about thinking that you're broken in some kind of way. The simple truth in here is that your body did what it needed to do to keep you safe, to help you keep going, to help you survive. But for many of us, we stayed in that survival mode way past when the situation was really happening to us. And so moving forward, what we want to do, what I really want to invite you to do, is to start slowly rebuilding your inner trust. Start slowly trusting your body. The signals that are coming up, the signals for when you're feeling tired, to really allow yourself to rest, to slow down, to take care of yourself. When everything is screaming no within your body, to really honor that and say, no, I can't do this. Not now, at least not now, not in this moment. And when it feels like you are putting everybody else's needs in front of your own, to really schedule time for your self-care, to really allow yourself to say yes to yourself. One of the biggest shift for me that happened is when I really realized that when I say yes to things that I don't want to say yes to, when I feel no in my body, is the process of abandoning myself. And that can be a very difficult thing to acknowledge, that by saying yes to others, you are actually abandoning yourself. So allow yourself to feel that within your body, whether that's ringing true, whether that's resonating in any way at all. I know that when it landed for me, when I saw it for myself, it really landed. That was a very hard pill to swallow. And it brought up a lot of emotions of just grief and sadness. And it required me to sit with it and practice really self-compassion. In our training and coaching work, We rebuild body trust through small, consistent moments of pausing, noticing, and responding with more kindness. And I'm using the word kindness because sometimes compassion seems like too big ask, but we can always choose to be a little bit kinder to ourselves in this moment. So we have to begin by creating inner safety. And one of the ways that we can do it is through practicing titration, so taking things slowly in manageable pieces. So for example, if we want to start practicing understanding how our body says yes and how our body says no or signals no, we can do it in a couple of different ways. So the first one is really thinking about last time when you really experienced the whole body yes. You were asked to do something, or you ask yourself, should I do something? And it just that felt like there was this real softening and openness and ease within the body, or maybe body was feeling energized. Yeah, I really want to do that. Feel that sense of inspiration and moving forward with ease and grace. So take a moment now and maybe think about last time when you felt that. Or maybe it was a little bit more subtle. There was just this relaxation in the belly, softening in the shoulders, softening in the face, and a deep sigh. That's how often I experience of whole body yes. There is this softening and my breathing shifts. So how does your body say yes? What we're doing in here is we are consciously, mindfully making a point of reference for ourselves, something that we can refer back to. This is how my body says yes. What I'm feeling, is it similar or is it different? And we can do the same with your body saying no. Think back to last time when you really experienced this response of no within your body. Was there some contraction? Maybe there was some tightening or pulling back. Maybe you contracted in your belly, or you held your breath, or you tightened in your shoulders. I know for me, the no is usually to do with the breath and tightening of the breath and moving the breathing higher in my body. My belly just tightens. Oh, and I'm holding for dear life. And then it comes into my shoulders and my neck. And I get very still, very still. So if I am with somebody who's not familiar, not aware of how to read somebody else's body communication and responses, they might miss it completely. Because I have years of practice of hiding this kind of behavior. When I feel this kind of no, and there is something that is going on, I'm very good at hiding it. So check for yourself. Are you the same? Do you hide it really well? It's this kind of fawning behavior that many of us have. Pretending. I used to, even years ago, I remember my best friend when I was in my 20s, my best friend who got to know me really well, started noticing when I would do that. And to everybody else, I would still smile and nod and go through the motions. And he was able to spot and say to me, oh, that doesn't feel right for you. Or you didn't understand what they were asking you, or you didn't understand what they were saying. Other people just noticed me being very compliant, smiling, nodding. But he could spot that because he knew me. We were very close and he could understand what my body was communicating. This is the kind of level of understanding and skill that we want as practitioners. This is what we explore in our training and coaching work. So check for yourself now. How does your body say no? Last time when your body said no, create that shortcut for yourself, this somatic embodied shortcut for yourself, that point of reference. When you have got a clear point of reference when your body says yes and when your body says no, when it comes to then experiencing your responses, you can compare it. Is it more towards yes or is it more towards no? Because some of our responses are very clear. That's a very clear yes or very clear no. And some of our responses are more around somewhere in the middle. This is maybe yes, but. This is no, but. This is how we start building trust. We start building trust by really acknowledging and honoring those responses within our own being, within our body. I want to share a beautiful story with you from one of the women in my certification program. And this version of the story I hear so often within our community. She came to our training feeling exhausted and slightly disconnected from her work and from her body. This is because she's been overgiving and really ignoring her needs, because she's such a wonderful, conscientious human being who cares so deeply. But she's also quite sensitive. And in order to be able to do that, she had to shut down some of her body wisdom, some of her responses, to be able to keep going, keep pushing through. And over the last few years, she's come to experience the changes in the body as we all do, hitting the perimenopause. And so the needs of her body started to change, but she didn't feel like she could respond to those changes in an empowered way. And so hence the exhaustion, hence the disconnection from her body. Her body needs were changing, but she was not able to respond to them in a way that felt right for her. And so within our training in the module 1, we start from understanding our needs. One of the most powerful practices that I have ever experienced myself, and I taught, and this is what I teach others, is to really understand how you feel, what your needs are, and how you can meet those needs in an empowered way. And from those 3 steps, I tell you from the experience of working with hundreds, if not thousands of clients, is that most of us skip 1, if not 2 of those steps. Very few people, in fact, there isn't really anybody that I've met that was a client of mine or that I trained that followed all 3 steps in a way that worked for them. Some of us know how we feel only too much, and it becomes so overwhelming that it feels like we are drowning in all of this. So we try to disconnect from that experience, but we do not have skills and understanding to actually do something about it. Some of us skip how we feel and go straight into what can I do about it? Trying every single technique and follow any advice that is out there. A little bit like throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping and praying and begging that something will work. And some of us know how we feel. We've got the skills. We understand how we feel. We know what we need, but we do not feel empowered within ourselves to meet those needs effectively. And so within all of this, the first step is always to understand, what is my body trying to communicate with me? And this is what this practitioner really experienced. After weeks of showing up for herself, doing the checking in practices, acknowledging her needs, meeting her needs in an empowered way, understanding when her body was saying more no or more yes, and acting on it, putting boundaries in place. She came back and she really shared how profound this change has been. Saying no to projects that didn't feel aligned anymore. Saying yes to projects that she really wanted to do, but didn't have the time or energy or capacity to do previously because she was saying yes to projects that didn't feel aligned anymore. Can you see how quickly things can start shifting? And how empowering it can feel to actually understand that one small yes to herself can create such powerful ripple effect of self-trust and boundary setting and deep healing that comes with it. This is really possible for all of us. Yes, it does take time. Yes, sometimes it's uncomfortable to honor how we feel. If somebody asks you to do something and your body says no, and you honor that, and you say to that person, no, I can't do, that will feel uncomfortable. I remember what I said right at the beginning of this session, that when you say yes to others, when it feels no within you, you're abandoning yourself. So the question in here is, what do you choose? Do you choose to continue to abandon yourself, or do you choose yourself to look after yourself, to honor your needs, to honor your inner wisdom, and then give to others from a space that is more empowered, from a space that feels like you are more in a thriving state, from a space of plenty, the space of abundance, because you're looking after yourself. And everything is built on that. So I want to remind you before we finish, trusting your body is a journey. It takes some time. It's not a destination. You don't have to get it perfect. There is no right or wrong way of doing this. There is just your way, what works for you, what's right for you. And from experience, I can tell you that confusion, doubt, and uncertainty are all part of the process. It's like any other skill, like managing your money, riding a bike or driving a car or working with clients. It takes time to learn it, and it takes time to really build that trust. Your body really will never punish you for not listening perfectly. It will simply keep offering gentle and sometimes not so gentle reminders. I'm sure you heard that saying, quiet the body and mind so the soul can whisper. If you don't listen to the whispers, sometimes those signals and nudges get much, much louder. And the more you listen, the clearer those signals will become. The clearer and the faster you know that your body is saying more yes, or that your body is saying more no. So my invitation to you is really to take a little bit of time to learn that, because it's really worth it to understand what brings more harmony and ease and balance, and what creates more inner conflict and disharmony, and maybe even some kind of illness. So as we are finishing, I want you to just check in with your body. Maybe you can bring the hand on the chest or on the belly. Maybe you can take a moment to listen to what your body is saying right now. And remembering that you can learn to trust your body. You can learn to listen to your body. You can learn to understand what your needs are, and you can learn to honor those needs. Notice how your body is responding to this material. What's really true for you in this moment? And how can you make it your own? How can you practice it and embody it in your own way? How can you use it to support you in this journey called life? So thank you for joining me for this episode. And if what I talk about resonated, if you'd like to learn more, check out the information about our 160-hour trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women certification. You can find all the details on the website and with the link below. And if you'd like to join our community, I'll be very happy to welcome you there. For now, take care of yourself and make sure that you're allowing yourself to live at the pace that is right for you. Remembering that you have a choice and that you can choose to do things slightly differently and with kindness as you move forward. Take care for now.